Hello, my name is Gray.
And my name is Crystal.
And this is Bust the Asian Beauties, a supernatural commentary podcast where I, someone who has seen this show several times.
And I, someone who only knows the show through social media, discuss every single episode of Supernatural from start to finish. Also, we are both Asian.
Both Asian. Yeah, today we are discussing Season 4, Episode 6, Yellow Fever, written by Andrew Dabb and Daniel Laughlin, directed by Phil Segrisha. You know what?
Yeah, this was not that bad. Like, Dabb did an okay job the first time.
Okay, here's my take.
Yeah.
Many times this episode, I was laughing out loud with the episode, right?
Yeah.
I was enjoying what they were doing. They were putting things on the table, and I was like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's amusing. And then towards the end, when I realized
what the plan was.
This is the episode where they do the thing that they do to the ghost that they're trying to get rid of. I was like, oh, okay.
That's where the Dabbness comes in.
Suddenly, I was laughing, but in a I can't believe they're doing this. In a
little dream of me way.
Yeah, I can't believe they're doing this kind of way. Although I would say, Dabb era, I would say, is characterized a lot by its comedy. It's a very, that's where Supernatural really does become a sitcom, you know?
Mm.
So, I understand that, Andrew Dabb, in his introductory episode, is it? We said that last episode, but I'm not sure if it's
We did
true.
say that. I can check.
It is.
Yep.
Yellow Fever is his first episode. So, for his first episode to be,
he wrote your
episode,
favorite Sam episode.
Really?
He wrote After School Special.
Wow. And he was partners with Daniel Laughlin for a really long time.
Yeah, but then they broke up in season 8.
Damn. He also wrote Huntery Heroicy.
Yeah, which I guess
sure is an episode.
Yeah, definitely is one. Sad to see an epic writing partnership broken, just like Sarah Gamble and Rael Tucker.
Yes. They hate to see the LGBTs win. What is the implication in that statement?
That they were fucking? That Sarah Gamble and Rael Tucker were fucking, and so were Dabb and Laughlin? Is that the implication?
You know, we never know. I'll probably delete this part
I'm pretty sure we know.
Well,
Anyway.
Yeah, that's our thoughts for this episode. I think it's really juicy. I think this episode is really juicy, and I'm excited to get into it. So, what did you know about the episode before going and watching it?
What I knew about this episode before going in and watching it was that it is, basically one of the only Supernatural episodes that Kripke felt he needed to release an apology statement after. And I'm gonna read that out loud to all of you right now, okay? So, this is an article. It goes, in response to last night's episode of Supernatural, showrunner Eric Kripke wanted to pass along this message to the show's fans. So, I've never before responded directly to the fandom's comments about an episode, and I don't plan to make a habit of it, but I couldn't resist dropping in a thought about the episode Yellow Fever, which is this. Line break. Dean is not a dick. None of the writers or anyone on the creative team of Supernatural think Dean's ever been a dick. Past, present, or future. He's a hero. Dean did not contract the ghost sickness because he's a dick. Victims contract the illness because they use fear as a weapon. Dean asks Lilith at the episode's end, "Why did I get infected?" And she cryptically responds, "You know why. Listen to your heart." We, as the writers, probably should have emphasized this mystery more. I take responsibility for that omission. But the point is, the reason he was infected is because of a secret he's keeping. A dark secret that will be revealed in episode 10. And not at all because of any dickishness, implied or otherwise.
It's so funny. I
Bugs,
actually
fine. Racist truck, fine. Misogyny up the wazoo, fine. But it is my fault for implying for a second that Dean might be a dick when he is a hero.
Oh my god. I didn't read the full statement, but I did go through the Yellow Fever, like, super wiki page.
Yeah.
And, like, reading that, like, Eric Kripke was like, wait, where is it? For the first time ever, Eric Kripke made a statement after the episode clarifying that Dean wasn't infected because he was a dick. And it's like,
Jensen Ackles is not gonna fuck you!
It is so funny to me because I know what they were trying to do, right? Like, I know what the reveal is, etc., etc.
Right.
But even then, I was like, yeah, maybe he was just a dick for real. Like, who even gives a shit?
Maybe he is just a dick. That's fine. He is a dick, so it's fine.
Yeah. Like, they are not mutually exclusive. Like, being a hero and being a dick occasionally, they are not mutually exclusive. So for them to come out and be like, we the writers, but especially me, Eric Kripke, believe that Dean will never be a dick. It's like, what are we doing here? Was there an uproar? Were people rioting in the streets?
I think
What's
people
happening?
were rioting in the streets. It seems like the fan response was strong enough that he felt like he needed to come out and say something. Which, you know what? I'm actually really curious to see if this reflects on the IMDb reviews at the end of the episode. If people are, like, screaming and crying, going, Dean is not a dick! And the other thing I knew about this episode was the screen caps of the scene where Dean sees the words baby gonna cry and starts panicking.
God, many times this episode, I really was just, and that includes that scene. Baby gonna cry? He should have.
Literally, baby gonna cry?
He literally should have.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us
should we just mention the title of this episode? Like, it isn't what it is, but like, it could be, but it isn't.
Yeah, Yellow Fever. So... Actually, you know what? I didn't know what Yellow Fever was in terms of the disease because it's not, like, it doesn't affect Southeast Asian countries.
I also didn't know what it was in terms of the disease until I looked it up. I was like, maybe there's a disease for it, but I only know it as, like, another term for Asian fetishization.
I've heard about the yellow plague, which I think is different. It's not the yellow disease. Yellow plague, that's different from yellow fever, which is different from yellow fever.
Other yellow fever.
Yeah. Like, yellow fever is it's like a disease. Is it an infection? It's a viral infection, I think. You know, let's not spread misinformation.
Yeah. Wikipedia says it's a viral disease. I have the page open.
Yellow fever can also be used as a term for sexual fetishization, of Asian people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Interestingly enough, one time that it was used, like a famous time it was used in the afterword to the play M. Butterfly by David Henry Hwang. And, he meant it in a derogatory way, right? Like, he was like, people who have Asian fetishes are basically infected with a disease. But I feel like people use it as a self-descriptor now, unironically, sometimes. So that's fun. Good job. Good job you did that. But yeah, the pun of the episode title is that yellow also means cowardly. So, like, that's what they were going for.
Wait, I remember this one.
Yeah.
This one video, it's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a game show. And then, like, it's like an Asian kid. Yeah, like, there's an Asian kid and, like, a wife.
Oh, shit, I remember this! But yeah, go ahead.
If a person is yellow, it means that they are. And then, like, the white kid busts in, and he goes completely silent, and then after, like, 5 seconds, he goes, Chinese? Yeah. And then, like,
God.
the Asian kid buzzes in and goes, cowardly? And the Asian kid, and the white kid was like, oh, damn it. Like, you could see his face, see his reaction, be like, oh, I should have known that.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Good for both of them.
Yeah.
Hope both of them are doing well. But yeah. Also, if you're curious, people can't, like, I couldn't find, like, a strict etymology of, like, why yellow means cowardly, but, yellow being a descriptor for East Asians seems to be from Carl Linnaeus, who was, like, a Swedish scientist who, like, decided to separate humans into racial groups arbitrarily, and, he used luridus, which means pale yellow, lurid, or sallow, to describe Asian people. And according to the book, Becoming Yellow, A Short History of Racial Thinking, this was because, like, he used the same term to characterize plants that were unhealthy or toxic, and, like, the point was, like, exoticization / like, demonization of Asian people. So, that's fun.
As in, wait, Linnaeus as in the Linnaeus? The nomenclature guy?
Carl Linnaeus, he's considered the father of modern taxonomy? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, like...
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Yeah, I definitely learned about him in, like, he was a cool scientist way in school.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah,
he probably was a cool scientist in association with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Anyway, let's get into the episode. The episode starts with
the dance sequence?
Oh yeah, the dance sequence. It's fun. It's good. We get some Cass, we get some Lilith. They show Sam killing
Gordon again.
Gordon here.
Like,
yeah.
It's in every single then sequence. And it's like over him going like, I've got demon blood in me. I'm a whole new level of racist. Like implying that he only killed Gordon because of the demon blood? Like, okay. What a fascinating take.
Untrue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right. But also, why did they have Cass in here and he's not even in the episode?
No, it's like, because Dean gets threatened that he's gonna get thrown back in hell, and they're reminding us that by putting in the line of Cass saying, I can throw you back to hell.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. See, my only feelings about that line are like, oh, hi, he's hot. I forgot that there were, like, words that meant things in there.
So, let's finally start with the episode. It's just Dean. Just his usual self. No, but,
it's just being regular.
Dean interspersed, well, actually, the before sequence itself was interspersed with Dean running in the road, right? So that's like, kind of like how they tie it in to the teaser portion of the episode, where he is in fact running, but now it's night. And we hear like a bit of growling, a bit of like dog noises in the back. And he is super scared, and he gets to a point where he sees like some guy, he stops in the middle of the road, and then he tells the guy like, it'll kill you! Run! Run! And then we see what he's pointing at, which is this little Yorkie.
With a pink bow on its head.
Yeah, and I was thinking, this dog is probably not a street dog, so like, where's its...
Yeah. Why is it out here?
Yeah, where's its pet mommy? Where is it?
Aww. Yeah.
Poor little dog. That's the end of our introduction. We go to 43 hours earlier, where Sam and Dean are going to a morgue in Colorado, right?
Yeah, Rock Ridge, Colorado.
And as they enter, the coroner tells them, like, Agent Tyler, Agent Perry, meet Frank O'Brien. And Tyler and Perry is an Aerosmith reference, which they do actually they say in the episode, like, oh, just like in Aerosmith. Which, do you find it funny or cheap when they do that?
I think that as long as it's not too often, because it's like, their nicknames are stupid and they should be caught out more for them. Or at least, like, people should mention, oh, band. So yeah, I think it was fine.
The last time we had this was, like, when Dean was talking to some guy and the guy was like, oh, just like in Led Zeppelin, right? So, it's not that often. So,
that was in Scarecrow or some shit.
Yeah. Frank O'Brien died of a heart attack 3 days ago, but apparently he was an athletic guy. Marathon runner, 44, so like, why did he die? And the coroner says, well, everybody dies, like, that's why I have job security. Honestly, I love this coroner. I am quite, taken aback by the lack of protective gear later on, but yeah, he's funny. And apparently, not just Frank died this past few days, like, 2 other men died from heart attacks, and the coroner's like, okay, sure, but like, why does the FBI give a shit? And Dean says, like, we just want to see the autopsy, which obviously hasn't been done to this man who died of a heart attack. So the coroner is like, there's no autopsy. What autopsy? And Dean goes, the one you're gonna do.
The next scene is, like, the autopsy happening, and I feel like the vibe is, like, the coroner's not happy that he's being forced to do an autopsy, so he's, like, trying to make it as unpleasant for Sam and Dean as possible, and honestly, like, slay.
I'm pretty sure you wear a mask during an autopsy. No matter what.
Yeah,
whether the person died of whatever. You wear a mask. And you know what? This could have all been avoided if they just wore masks.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, but freedom. They're freedom as Americans.
Yeah. So I've heard. I have heard about the Americans' freedoms.
So, the coroner's like, okay, I'm gonna do the autopsy, like, right in front of you, and I'm gonna make it as gross as possible. So, you know, we see him cut the skin open, and then he has Sam and Dean assist, so, like, there's, like, rib cutters that Dean hands over, and we get to, like, hear the snap.
Also, the way he picked up the heart.
Oh, yeah, that is, yeah.
He didn't cut it off the body. He
just
ripped it out.
Yoinked it out, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I support it.
There's, like, scratches on this guy's knuckles and arms, and there's also, like, this white band on his left hand, which implies that he was married.
Yeah.
So he finds that the heart seems perfectly healthy, no blockages. I didn't know there were physical signs of a heart attack that were left behind on the heart. Maybe there aren't. This is supernatural. I'll never know. Yeah, he yanks it out, tells Dean to hold it, and then, like, as he's cutting something else out, like an organ, like, bursts and splashes, like, blood all over Sam's face. You know, the coroner goes like, oh, sorry, spleen juice.
This reminded me so much of that episode in House, where, like, an intestine explodes on that guy's face.
I don't know.
That guy. Love that. Foreman's face. You don't know this? Foreman.
No, I don't remember. Oh, Foreman.
We should get back to being a semi-House MD podcast.
No, we shouldn't. No one should ever think about that show ever again.
Alright.
It's making its comeback for, like, I don't really know why, and I feel like more people are watching it than, like, the, like, economic equilibrium deems is good, you know?
You know, what's fascinating is someone that I follow for Supernatural on the Tumbles is now posting the Great Ace Attorney fan art.
Nice.
And that's really fucking up with my head. Like, I'm not here on Tumblr for that. That's elsewhere, you know? Like, why are you doing here? What are you doing here? And also, they ship... I mean, I don't think it's, like, more reprehensible to ship that ship. But, like, personally, I don't enjoy it. And I'm like, oh, I'm sad. You enjoy it.
Everyone ships Naramitsu.
Not Naramitsu. It's like... Oh. In the Great Ace Attorney, your main character, you're Asian, you're Japanese. That's your guy.
The racist?
And then, like...
With the racist?
Yeah,
with
it's
the
like
Baroque racist guy?
Yeah, the Baroque racist guy.
Oh, that's insane. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, fine. It's okay. I don't give a shit. Like, do whatever you want. But, like, personally, I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm a hater. Yeah. I am a hater.
So, we're in the cop station, and, like, there's a deputy there who's, like, young and fresh-faced, and, like...
Everybody knows
this
guy.
Gay?
Like, you've seen this guy. I've seen
this guy in all, like, the Dean bisexual compilations. But, like, is this guy gay?
I hope so. He's very
Good
cute.
for him. He's something. So I think is the implication that he has a thing for Dean? Like, I can't tell. I feel like if Supernatural actually meant to do it, they would make it a lot more clear and then have Dean make a gay joke about it. So I guess not.
Yeah, because they do that with, like, Aaron, right? Like,
yeah,
they were like, oh, he's into Dean, blah blah blah, and then he's not, and it's a whole thing. But, like, I don't know. If this was literally any other show, I would be like, yeah, that's probably their intention. But because this is Supernatural.
Yeah, it sure is Supernatural. Yeah. So, right. This is Deputy Linus, and then the sheriff shows up, and he takes them into his office, but he tells them to take their shoes off first, which is supposed to, like, show that he's, like, really fastidious about his office being clean, or, like, is a germaphobe, but, like, maybe he's just Asian.
I know! I literally, like, he made them take off his shoes, and I was like, go Asian King, go white Asian King.
Yeah. Diversity when this white man is also an Asian man and also did so many terrible things as a cop.
Yeah.
So, he starts, like, really scrubbing his hands down with, like, hand sanitizer. He tells them a bit about the case. He says that he and Frank were friends. Hell, we were gamecocks. And Dean does laugh at this, and so do I.
Later. I mean, we'll get into it later.
Oh, the Gamecocks corn jerkers thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was really funny.
The rest of that scene I did not hear at all because I was too busy hearing my laughter.
Yeah. So, this turns out to be their softball team. Do you think...
They are...
Do we have a name for John's softball team in 220?
Diversity win. This man who is white is also Asian and a lesbian.
Lesbian. And a cop. Good for him.
And also did some truly atrocious things.
Yep. So yeah, remember how John was on a softball team in 220? What if that softball team was called the Gamecocks or the Corn Jerkers? What if?
Well, what is, like, a Kansas-y name? Because I feel like Corn Jerker is, like, if you're in a corn...
They're in Colorado, though.
Yeah,
they
I have no idea
have
what
to do
any
anything.
of these places are.
Yeah, Colorado is, I don't know, they're mountains, and everyone called it, like, a den of iniquity for a few years when it was, like, when weed was legal there before other states. I don't know that much else about it.
They have Boulder, Colorado, which Dean says was his college in 102? I think. The second episode of the show.
Oh, wait, 102? Yeah, 102.
102,
No, it was 102, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah, and also when at Dean's laugh, he goes like, "They're majestic animals."
Love that.
Yeah, he says that he was a good man, and Dean makes like a shitty joke about like, "Oh yeah, he had a big heart." I just like following Monster Movie.
Yeah.
This is an odd episode. Like, first because they already did like their haha funny episode, but at least this one's actually funny.
Yeah.
And also second because like despite everything in Monster movie going against it, the thesis statement was like, "Oh, hunting is good because we save people or whatever the fuck, and it feels good to do." And like Dean's just here being a dick to this victim, and like now after we learn more things about him, I'm like, go ahead. But like right now it just seems really rude.
This is probably a common joke, but it was common for my group of friends because, you know, I am in fact a busty Asian beauty, and it's common for my friends to make like, "You have a big heart" joke towards me.
Oh yeah,
because, like, I have big heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when he said this, that's all I was thinking about.
Like, wow, he had giant badonkers, huge hung-along-alongs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Such things were wasted on such a terrible man. Yeah, apparently in the few days before he died, he was, like, really scared of everything. Dean's like, "Yeah, you know what? This is probably just a heart attack." And then he goes outside and immediately goes, "No way, that was a heart attack," to Sam.
Yeah, Sam, like, continue on that, like, there's no way it's a heart attack because everyone has the same scratches. Everyone was, like, mortified 48 hours before their death, etc., etc. And they start talking about how it's very difficult to narrow shit down. Cause, like, I mean, every supernatural creature is pretty much scary. So, they just go to some guy's place who's like, is Frank O'Brien's neighbor. And is also the last person to see him alive.
But before that, Dean says he sees a group of four teenagers, 15-year-olds with bikes who just look like they're talking to each other and hanging out after school. And he goes, "I don't like the looks of those teenagers down there," and crosses the street to avoid them. And that is supposed to be a hint. That's supposed to be a hint about something later. But, like, at the time, it was just like, alright, Dean. I guess he's, like, way more classist than I thought.
You know what? Teenagers, they're kind of terrible. I am willing to admit that. Sometimes.
But, like, Sam and Dean could take them.
This reminded me of, like, Yakuza for some reason. Because, like, teenagers are portrayed as super duper terrible.
When your guy gets, like, totally beat half to death by a group of teens.
Yeah. They should have done that to Dean. I retract my statement. I think teenagers are perfectly fine. And they should do that to Dean Winchester. Yeah, they enter this guy's house, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're named just like Aerosmith." And Sam handles this better than Dean did in the past, where he just says, "Yeah, it's a small world." And then, this guy is a lizard guy. He's a reptile guy. He has a lot of snakes. An alligator?
Yeah, or a crocodile. I didn't pause to check.
In a shockingly small terrarium, or whatever that's called.
Oh, aquarium? Yeah, that is not how you should be keeping an alligator or a crocodile, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there used to be a person in my life, which is such a vague way to put that, who, like, is into, like, reptiles as well. And so I looked up, like, well, what kind of equipment do you need for that or whatever? And you need so much equipment. And also, like a small animal needs so much space. But, like, throughout this scene, I was just like, that is such a small aquarium. What are you doing? Yeah. But, you know.
Sorry to that creature.
Apparently, Frank O'Brien was very jittery, freaking out a lot. And throughout this scene, Dean is looking very scared of all the animals. And Mark, the guy that you're talking to, was like, he was afraid of witches. And so I was like, what? And he clarifies that, I don't know, he was afraid of the lady from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, like he freaked when he saw Elphaba.
Yeah, he was afraid of, and I listed, Al-Qaeda, ferrets, artificial sweetener, pets dispenser, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. What is your most irrational fear?
Huh. I can't come up with anything. I mean, I guess
Yeah, you're the person who's like, all my fears are rational. What are you talking about?
I'm sure there's something. I just can't think of anything. I don't know. I don't eat the heads of fish or shrimp because I don't like the idea of their brains going into my mouth. Is that something?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Do they have brains? Isn't it just like nerve systems?
It is probably just nerve systems.
Love that. I think I've said this before in the podcast, but I'm very afraid of the trunk of a car beheading me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Anyway, they asked what Frank is like, and Mark basically says that, like, well, he got better. And they press, and he says that when he was in high school, when he was younger, he was a dick. He was a bully. But he did get better, and, like, after what happened to his wife, and they're like, oh, he was married, and apparently he was married 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And his wife died.
Yeah.
And that's all they say at this point. But, and then the snakes really start freaking Dean out. And Mark was like, hey, don't worry. This one's a sweetie. You should be worried about the one behind you. And then it shows a little snake curling on the couch. Fun
It's
stuff.
not little.
Yeah, it's
But
a big
yeah.
snake.
Yeah. It can smell fear, supposedly. Okay, so the timeline, what we know. Okay, he does a horrific murder, and then he finds out that his wife killed herself.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes him nice?
Yeah, like, because the way the brother later makes it so is that everyone knew he killed that guy. So, like, maybe Mark didn't. Maybe Mark was, like, new in town. But, like, how would he know that his wife killed herself if he was new in town?
I don't know. No, wait, he's not new in town because he said that he was one of the ones who got bullied by Frank in high school.
I don't know. Maybe, like... Yeah. It's a bit unclear. Maybe Mark is a bit out of it. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? I feel like he and Andy would get along.
Yeah, I think Andy would be very scared of the snakes, though.
Oh, true. Especially if he was, like, on a bad trip.
Yeah.
So, we're at the Impala, and Dean's starting to scratch his arm.
Love that!
And he gets...
Skin disease representation.
Real. So, he says that to Sam that his research has taught him that Frank's wife, Jessie, had, like, bipolar disorder, and then, like, she vanished, and then 2 weeks later they found her, and, like, she killed herself in a motel room. There's no way that Frank could have killed her, because when she disappeared, he was, like, at work. So, meanwhile, Sam has checked out Frank's house, and there was no EMF, no hex bags, and no sulfur. And then he notices that Dean is driving at the speed limit at 20 miles per hour. And then he drives past their motel, or I think it's a hotel this time because we see it and it's very nice. Sam's like, huh? And Dean goes, Sam, I'm not gonna make a left-hand turn into oncoming traffic. I'm not suicidal. And then Dean goes, did I just say that? That was kind of weird. And it is kind of weird because he is suicidal. But anyway, the EMF starts going off, and it's like detecting something off of Dean. And Dean starts going, "Am I haunted?" God, so fun. I've revised my, like, put him back in the ground wish. If you could just give him chronic, like, ghost illness that doesn't kill him, but, like, just sort of, like, keeps him around here, maybe, like, a little further. Like, this is the most likable he's ever been in the entire show.
That's true. So Sam is, like, on the phone with Bobby or something. And he walks towards the Impala. And Dean is lying down in the back seat or in the front seat. I don't know. There's no divider in the Impala, which I find so fascinating. Can they bring that back? Like in cars? Or, I mean, there's probably a reason why they took it away.
Probably a safety thing or something.
Yeah, but it looks so cool. Eye of the Tiger is playing really, really, really loudly. And Dean is air drumming. And then Sam just, like, scares him a little bit by banging on the roof of the car.
Also,
and
Sam's holding a box of donuts. I love when Sam gets to have food in his life. Good for him.
He did not eat it, though. He didn't eat it.
That's true. He just bought them for Dean or some shit.
Dean looked at it and also didn't eat it. So I don't know who consumed the donuts.
Well, yeah, he's probably getting afraid of artificial sweetener like Frank did.
Yeah. And Dean shows Sam some scratches on his arm. And he keeps on itching it pretty much all throughout this scene. Apparently, Sam reveals that Dean has ghost sickness. And this one is really funny. Like, Dean is like, "Oh my god. God, no." And Sam's like, "Yeah." And then they go silent for a while, and Dean goes, "I don't even know what that is." And it's incredibly effective. It's incredibly funny. And I think, honestly, like, not to be like Jensen Ackles is a good actor, but, like, I find that a lot of times people compliment Jensen for his crying, for his single man tear, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, that's, like, the main thing I complain about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I find his crying so, like, who even give a shit? But he is actually very good at, like, physical comedy.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why Dean is so funny and charismatic is because he has acted well when he is being funny. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam says, some cultures.
Some cultures.
Love that. They're going against the all cultures. Some cultures believe that certain spirits infect the living with a disease that acts exactly like a disease. And, like, he says that this is the reason why they stopped displaying bodies in houses and started taking them off to funeral homes, which is so fascinating to me because I am pretty sure that the funeral industrial complex is a very American thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, as soon as this happened, I was like, well, that wasn't in a mortician's tale, so I don't think it's true. So I did a quick fact check, and okay, so, like, at least if we're looking at just the phrase, like ghost sickness, it seems like, it's a phrase or a term used for, like, beliefs that are most common amongst, like, Navajo and Muskogee groups, like, Native American groups in the U.S., and also, like, some Polynesian islanders, but it is not about how the body or whatever can infect the living with a disease or whatever. It's, like, specifically about, like, how grief can cause physical symptoms like loss of appetite, hallucinations of or dreams about the dead, and anxiety. So, like, that's not really what this episode is. But it ends up being, like, a Japanese thing anyway, one that I could not find that many sources on, so I guess it's fine that they got ghost sickness wrong, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole, like, death industry is... It's ever since we played a Mortician's Tale, which we in fact did, and we posted it on our Ko-fi.
Yeah, and if you want to give us $3, you could, like, totally see it.
Yeah, and, like, we're doing that now. We're
like Let's Players now. Like, cat ears are growing out of my ears as we speak.
Exactly. But, like, ever since we played the Mortician's Tale, I've actually been, like, reading and, like, watching YouTube videos, you know, of, like, the typical people to watch, like, as a mortician, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, I think it's a very fascinating thing. And, you know, maybe one day we can get into it. Earlier in this podcast, I did ask you if pyring, like death, like a funeral by pyre is legal, and it's not. And we did read that pamphlet from the Department of Health. So, it's a long time coming. Yeah! The cremains one! Which is the most amusing thing that has ever happened in this podcast.
And we didn't come up with it.
Yeah. It's literally... Cremated remains are literally called cremains.
Yeah.
Love that. The symptoms are you get anxious, and then really, really, really scared, and then you die of a heart attack from all that scaredness. And Dean is like, well, we haven't seen a ghost. And Sam informs him that this spreads pretty much just like any sickness, which is so funny to me. What? 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 So the argument here is like, it spreads like any sickness in quotation marks, which is, well, as we know, sicknesses come in different shapes and sizes. So, like, the way this spreads, like, a cough, a handshake, whatever. So, like, is it airborne? Is it, like the particles in your saliva, whatever?
Sam says some cultures, but every illness.
Yeah. It's so funny. How does ghost sickness spread? Is there a flea in the air that bites the body and then bites you, and then you die 48 hours later like the bubonic plague? What's happening?
I don't know. Whatever.
Like, who give a shit? But also, it's so funny to me. It's so funny.
It's definitely a really weird writing choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Frank was in like a game over the weekend for a softball tournament, which is apparently where he has infected the other victims. And then Dean asks, and also throughout this scene, there's like a flashback sequence.
Yeah, like of just their jerseys.
Just their jerseys. And then Dean goes like, were they the Gamecocks? And then the camera is like panning over at the jersey with the word Gamecocks on it. And Sam goes, no, the corn jerkers. And it pans to the corn jerker jersey.
Oh god, it's
Why?
so good. I think this is the first scene in the show that was in like one of the videos that got me into Supernatural, which was like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Pig 420s, like Supernatural lines I still think about, or Supernatural line deliveries like, I still think about,
or something. Yeah. It is so funny. I literally like the entire rest of this scene. I was just laughing so hard. It's all everything, like Sam's delivery, the camera work, the like the way they zoom in on the word corn jerkers. It's truly something. It's not even that funny, like Gamecocks and corn jerkers, but it is very funny. Yeah,
it's just that it's delivered completely seriously.
Yeah, like
if they were like
does not find this amusing at all.
Yeah, if they were like tee-hee about it, I'd be like, you're so annoying, you're not that funny. But like, because they aren't doing that, I'm like, you are so funny. Good job.
This reminds me of like, I think it was Katya from everything, but she's a drag race queen.
Yeah.
And in like one of their episodes, Trixie and her, like, they mentioned that real comedians don't laugh at their jokes. They say something funny and they don't laugh. And then it reminded me of this podcast, and I was like, me and Crystal are so bad at this. We laugh at every single thing we say to each other, even if they're not funny.
Yeah. I laugh while delivering my own jokes because I think I'm so clever. I'm not.
Multiple times in this podcast, I was unable to deliver a joke at the prompt manner because I was laughing too hard. So, we are very
do you
professional.
remember that time we were joking with Danica? Like, oh, maybe you can, like, come on the podcast, but only as the laugh track? And she was like, you guys don't fucking need a laugh track!
We really don't. We really don't. We are laughing at our own jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway, they evaluate that Dean has around 24 hours to live.
Yeah.
And Dean asks, like, why me? Like, you are the one who got sprayed by the splin juice. And Sam says, well, Bobby and me had a theory that the three victims shared a certain personality type. And Frank was a bully. The other two victims, one was a vice principal and the other was a bouncer. So basically, they were all dicks, which is fascinating to me.
True.
Fascinating to me.
Being a vice principal is as bad as murdering someone.
Yeah, but you know, and also like, is the look at like teachers and stuff still that they're terrible people? I don't.
I say that vice principals get a sort of bad reputation for, I don't know, because they're admin, they're not teachers, and
That's
I don't
true.
know, like if you get sent to the principal's office or whatever, like
Matilda is still fresh in the brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, what? My little sister, she's 7 years old, super sweet.
Yeah.
Like, and she watched Matilda, like, when it was released, the new one, the musical.
And she was really scared to go to school after that, or?
Well, not really. So she had a classmate who, like, would go to the principal's office after classes. And she was like, she told my mom once, very, like, afraid, and, like, she was, like, telling it. Like, you know how, like, when kids are, like, telling an adult about something bad? Like, that kind of vibe. She was like, yeah, I have a classmate who went to the principal's office, and then the next day he was absent. I think our principal sent him to Choki. And, yeah, apparently the kid was, the principal's kid.
So they were just hanging out.
So he's just going to his mom's, like, office. And my little sister thought that he was being tortured in the Chucky. So that's fun. Anyway, Dean was like, I'm not a dick. And Sam's like, no, I mean, I know you're not a dick. But, you know, like, the victims also used fear as a weapon. And now the deceased are turning the favor. Which is so weak. I love the because they're dicks version more.
Yeah,
and Dean
it's
was like,
I don't because they're dicks.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dean was like, I don't scare people. And Sam says, all we do is scare people. And Dean says that if all we do is scare people, then that means you're also a dick. And Sam just goes like, apparently not. Apparently I'm not a dick.
So fucking real.
Good for him.
Like, yeah, your brother was dead for 4 months and it was the darkest period of your life. But yeah, it is funny now that he's gonna die in 24 hours. You're right. And I mean this unironically.
Yeah, and Sam says, well, I suppose we need to kill the ghost. They theorize whether it's Frank's wife. So they go and investigate whether it's Frank's wife. And before that, Sam goes, why are you here? Like, downstairs in the car. And Dean goes, yeah, our room is in the 4th floor, and I'm scared of heights.
So and cute! Like, this, keep him like this!
keep him like this, please. And Dean was actually Sam was actually very nice about this. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll see what we can do to move you to the first floor. Which is nice. I like that. I like really that he doesn't make fun of Dean.
Like, there are parts later where he gets fed up or, like, makes fun of Dean, but, like, he is, like, quite accommodating right now. And I thought it was really sweet. Wait, okay, question about this Eye of the Tiger scene. Like, like, is this just, like, this is what Dean does in his car? Or is it, like, he's, like, trying to, like, hype himself up to, like, go up to the 4th floor by listening to loud music or something?
I love that idea. He was like, let's get some inspo music right now.
Right,
so I can go up the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like later what we see his main coping mechanism is drinking heavily, which was really sad to see. So, like, I feel like this is a healthier way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, also, I liked the line, Dean, all we do is scare people, because even though they didn't mean it like that, like, all we do could imply, and we don't even save them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the only thing we do is scare people due to hunting being bad and how both of them should quit hunting. So, yeah. We're inside a hotel room, and it is a nice room. Like, there's a separate living room from the bedroom.
That's true.
You know?
Very
like,
bougie looking.
What a hell. Good job. So, there's, like, artistic clock on the wall that's, like, spiky looking or whatever. And Dean's reading a book about ghost sickness and also, like, really freaked out by the clock. And, you know, there are illustrations of, like, people with blood pouring out of them that he gets really freaked about.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, we zoom in on the text, and there seems to be, like, text, like, popping out that's bold, that's, like, speaking to him specifically. And it goes, "You're dying. Again. Loser. You gonna cry? Baby gonna cry?" And Dean starts, like, hyperventilating and going, like, like, about this, and it's so funny, and, like, I don't know, I don't want to disparage people with, like, actual anxiety disorders, or whatever, but, like, I guess since this is ghost sickness, it feels removed enough that I can find it so funny that this man is suffering.
Yeah. I think the baby gonna cry is the one that really took me out.
So good. Literally gonna cry.
Yeah.
But he didn't, and that was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, like, below Baby Gonna Cry, there's, like, a line about Japan, which I guess is foreshadowing for later. But yeah, I couldn't really find anything for Japan and ghost sickness specifically, but I guess the monster that they decided is not really a ghost sickness thing. So we cut to, like, a teeny bit later, and Sam comes in and sees that Dean has, like, smashed the clock on the floor. And he's, like, drinking on the sofa and telling Sam that everything's good. So what Sam got from research was that Jessie O'Brien was cremated, so she's not the ghost. Dean says something about how, like, oh, it's nice to have my head on the chopping block again. I almost forgot what that feels like. Which is, like, basically the only time in this episode that they acknowledge that this is, like, a bad situation, that Dean's about to die. The rest of it's all just, like, it's so funny. And it is. It is so funny. And then Dean starts choking and coughing, and he spits up a wood chip. And Sam goes like, oh my god, we've been, like, totally ignoring the fact that, like, you're a really good source of information for the research. Like, whatever's happening to you is going to be clues to the identity of the ghost. And Dean's like, what, tell us what, like, wood chips? And Sam says, exactly.
So they go to a place with wood chips, I suppose. I'm pretty unclear on what this place is.
It's a lumber mill?
And you think I know what the fuck a lumber mill is? I know that a lumber is a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And a mill is
one of them spinny things.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a mill in Pentiment, right?
And Pentiment, yeah, I love that game.
But lumber mills are specifically like places where they cut like raw logs into like usable lumber. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a wood chippy area, and Dean is quite terrified. But Sam's like, well, I need backup, and you're the only person here.
Yeah. He says specifically, you're all I've got, which, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, this feels sort of like Sam, like, manipulating Dean's brother instincts, and that's spicy. I like it. Do it more.
Yeah. Dean takes a huge gulp of alcohol, and then they go to the back of the car where Sam picks up a gun, hands it to Dean, and Dean goes, I'm not holding that. It might go off. And then he gets the flashlight and then goes, I'll man the flashlight.
And he looks so proud of himself. Like, he's like, I'm being such a brave, strong boy. And, like, he gives Sam, like, a quick little nervous smile after, too. And I think it's so fun. Keep him like this, please.
This is a very popular, like, screenshot / gif from this episode. Because he does look adorable.
Yeah. As you said in the beginning, we need to consider the appeal of men who are just little guys.
Yeah, exactly. They go in, and the EMF is going crazy, but it is going to because Dina's there. So they just, I don't know, they turn off the EMF, and then Sam finds a ring on the ground, and like, much fanfare. Like, throughout this entire scene, Dean is scared of everything.
Yeah.
Like, Sam finds a ring that says, to Frank, love Jesse. So it's Frank's ring.
So the implication is that he dropped this while doing a murder 20 years ago?
Exactly.
It's not even dusty.
Here's my question. If he dropped this 20 years ago, how does he still have a ring then?
I guess he could have gotten a replacement, like a morning thing. But
it's just a very weird thing to put there, and I do not understand.
I just feel like they think we're stupid. Yeah, like, there's the pictures of Jesse, like, in the office. Like, we didn't need this part. And we also learned from his brother later anyway that he did do this murder. I think it's, yeah. And the fact that, like, the ring says, like, to Frank, love Jesse, like, it's just, they think we're stupid and they want to handhold us through this mystery or whatever.
Yeah, it could be, like, their initials together or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this just seems like it probably costs a lot to engrave that many words on a ring.
Anyway, they walk around some more. There's a scene where there's a locker, and they hear rustling inside, and they go over to it, and Dean is pointing a flashlight at it, and Sam is mouthing some words that I did not quite catch.
It seemed like he was going like 3, 2, 1, open or something.
Okay. He was doing that, and as he opens it, there's a cat.
Yeah.
And Dean lets out the most goofy scream of all time.
Yeah. No, it was really good. No one has ever screamed like that in Supernatural before.
It's the implication here, because later on we see the guy, the ghost, and
Luther.
We see in a flashback that he is holding a tiny baby kitten.
Oh, so it could be like one of the children of like that original cat.
Cats can live for 5 ever. I'm pretty sure it's still this cat.
It doesn't look like an old cat. It's been 20.
Okay, fine.
Wait, look up cat lifespan. cats live about 15 years, but
That's
okay, some can be in their 20s.
Yeah.
Alright, fine, it could be the same cat with a good skincare routine. Yeah.
Unlike your guy from Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah, Peter Capaldi was 58 when he started playing the 12th Doctor, and I, like, thought for sure he was, like, 70 or some shit.
I mean, no, I don't want to, like, make fun of people for aging, you know?
That's true.
But when you show the picture of your father at the same age that this man was during the recording of Doctor Who, I did scream and cry.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like a white people wrinkle more thing, right? Like, isn't that a thing?
I think
that white people age worse?
I think, no, like, Asians, like, don't wrinkle. That's, like, a thing, right? Like, Asians specifically. And your father isn't back Asian.
A lot of groups that aren't white have, like, a thing where they say that they age better than white people. Like, there's, like, Black Don't Crack and stuff. I think it's just white people who are the minority.
No, but, like, why? Is it because, like, of the sun?
I don't know.
They have less melanin. But, like,
so they get more sun
damage? Yeah, but, like, a lot of Asian people are also pale, so.
Yeah. No clue, man.
Yeah. We don't know. We never know. They look at the ID card in the locker, and it says Luther Garland. And then Dean goes over to the table where we see many drawings. Well, is it many at this point or just one?
Like
I don't know. But we see
a
drawing. We see a drawing of Frank's wife, Jessie, and Sam says, the plot thickens. And Dean goes, yeah, but like into what? Which I love that. I love that exchange. Suddenly, the machines start going. Specifically, the machines start going after Dean rips out the drawing from the table. So, like, there's a piece of the drawing that gets ripped out from the side. And then the machines start going. And the machinery looks very intimidating. But another thing that also looks very intimidating is there's a guy standing on the side of the room. He has his back turned to them. So, he's just, like, looking at the corner, I guess. And the way they do this scene is incredibly funny. Like, we go to Sam's face, and he turns around to look at Dean, and we see Dean just running in the background. He is just running away. And I love this because, like, Dean doesn't even scream. We don't even hear. Like, it's not, like, comedic in terms of, like, audio. It's just purely visual. And Sam's like, like, he's just like, he's just thinking, like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes towards Sam, and Sam shoots the guy, who disappears, so we know it's a ghost. The whole time, when we see the guy, I was like, yeah, it must be a real guy. Like, I did not comprehend that this was a ghost at all. So when Sam shoots him, I was like, why is he just shooting this random guy? And then he disintegrates, and I was like, okay, that is a ghost.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it seems like this place has been abandoned for 20 years, so it's not like there would be employees around.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, also, I guess an important detail is that his face is really scratched up, like the ghost's face.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam goes back to Dean, who is, like, outside Impala, like, sitting on the ground. And he is drinking yet again.
Yeah. Sorry, Dean. I mean, this would be a way less funny episode if they treated things with, like, the gravity that they deserve. But, like, I don't know, like, this could have been a good Sam episode, you know? Like, but, like, he just does not care that his brother's gonna die. And I feel like they don't give Sam opportunities to have emotions a lot of the time. So, yeah, rip to this. And, like, yeah, I guess in a different version of this episode, Dean, like, has a monologue where he's, like, beating himself up for not being a good big brother and protecting Sam, so thank God we don't have that shit. So, yeah. So we're back to the cops, and, Linus is giving Sam the file on Luther Garland's death, and he notices that Dean is swaying, so he's like, is he drunk? And Sam goes, no. And, so the file says that Luther died of physical trauma, but Linus doesn't have the details on what that means exactly. And, Sam's like, okay, can we talk to the sheriff? But Linus is like, no, he's out sick today, which is a lie. He is in his office. And, yeah, Sam's like, okay, tell him to call us. And he gives their motel to him, which is an important detail.
Yeah.
And then, so they're about to head out, and Dean, like, drunkenly, like, tells Linus, like, you know what? You're awesome. And Linus, like, does, like, a little, like, smile with half of his face and looks like, I feel like they were going just for, like, he doesn't know what's going on and he feels awkward, but it does just seem like a crush situation. He just seems flustered. Really does. Yeah, and he goes, like, thanks, you too, I guess. And, like, Dean, like, sort of nervously, like, wipes his hands on his pants, and then Sam has to, like, drag him away. Like, it's cute. Yeah, it's cute. And then the sheriff asks, like, who was that? And Linus is like, it was those FBI guys, and they wanted Luther Garland's file. And then we cut to the inside of the sheriff's office, and he's freaking out. There's, like, it's, like, a pretty graphic scene where he's, like, scrubbing his arms with, like, it looks like a, like, tin foil or something. Like, something that is, like, sharp. And, like, he's bleeding really badly. And then there's, like, a voiceover of him going, like, they know what you did, and they're gonna make you pay. And he's, like, swinging his gun around at his own reflection and all his trophies and shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope everyone who commits this kind of violence
is haunted forever.
Yeah, but, yeah.
We go to, like, a nursing home where Sam and Dean are going to interview Luther Garland's brother. And before they go in, like, Dean starts freaking out, and he's like, this isn't gonna work! These badges are fake! What if we get busted? We could go to jail! God bless. And this is also a night, this is also, like, a fun scene, I think, where, like, Sam tells him, like, okay, hey, calm down, let's take a deep breath together. And then, when, after Dean does, like, Sam is like, there, do you feel any better? And Dean's like, no. And Sam's like, okay, yeah, let's just go, whatever. And, like, I don't know, that feels so Sam to me, like, he literally, like, is a psych major. You know what I mean? Like, he's, like, such, like, the friend who went to therapy, like, 3 times on, like, the, like, college's dime, and then, like, learned, like, the most generic tricks of, like, name 5 things you can see, and deep breaths and shit. And then was like, okay, I'm fixed now, and I'm gonna bring this wisdom to all of my friends, you know?
Sam is definitely the guy who went to therapy 3 times, and the therapist mentioned Buddhism, and suddenly he's into Buddhism.
Yeah. God. Right. It's just fun to see, like, him, like, trying to be accommodating of Dean, and, like, trying to be nice, but, like, also, like, having not that much patience for this situation. Because it's, like, it's very, like, Sam wants to be a nice guy, and he wants to do the nice, normal thing, but, like, he is kind of a little freak. So, yeah.
No, like, I mean, if they don't do this, Dina's gonna die. So, like, they do have to do it. And, like, I think, you know, like, later on, like, when he's trying to comfort Dean, he, like, lies to him in a way. You know, he is trying to be accommodating. It's just, like, this is a thing that needs to be done, so let's do it. Like, that's kind of the
Dean
vibe.
doesn't have to be here for the interview.
Yeah,
this guy in a nursing home isn't like a threat or whatever. Yeah,
I suppose they're just doing this for like, why is he here? You're right. Why is he here? I was gonna say they're just doing it for the comedy, but this scene is not funny.
Yeah, this scene's awful. In like not in a bad writing way, just in a fuck way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the way my mood immediately, like, went from, like, 100 to 0 in this scene was truly astounding.
Yeah. So, they go in and talk to Mr. Garland. He doesn't get a first name. So, that is Luther Garland's brother. He asks for their IDs, and Dean starts freaking out, being like, these are real, obviously. Like, who would even pretend to be an FBI agent? But somehow, like, Mr. Garland is still willing to talk to them after that. So, he, like, is a little reluctant to talk at first, and then he tells them what happened to his brother. So he starts out by saying that, like, everyone was, like, scared of him and called him a monster because he was, quote, too big, too mean-looking, just too different. I just need to... Like, if you look at a picture of this guy, he does not look big or mean-looking.
But, like, the way they do... I don't think he looks mean-looking. But the way they do, like, the camera work when he's there is, like, they, like, tilt it up, so he looks really big and tall. So I think, like, that's the implication. Like, he was, like, towering over everyone.
Yeah, okay, sure. Right. And I'm not really sure about this, but, like, the whole... When he says too different, and he says later about how he feels like he failed him, like, are they, like, trying to, like, imply that he has, like, an intellectual disability or, like, some kind of neurodivergency going on? And that's, like, part of why people, like, hated him so much.
Interesting.
Like, that is, like, very strongly the vibe that I got, but it was never explicitly said.
Yes, it was never explicitly said. But
yeah.
I can see, like, now that you mention it, like, yeah. There is that vibe.
Yeah, which is part of why the rest of the episode made me so miserable.
Yeah. And also, this was, like, in the 80s, right?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Did they even know? Like, did they even know anything about neurodivergence of any kind in the 80s?
They knew some things, I'm pretty sure. Or at least they had some version of the DSM that was shit, just like the current version of the DSM is shit. I'll look up history of the DSM. Early versions that were similar to it started in 1840, and then, like, the first DSM was in 1952. So, yeah, I mean, they probably had incorrect info, but, I think
we
people
probably
were
still do
aware.
have incorrect info.
Yeah,
right
and we
now.
still do have incorrect info, but I think people were aware of neurodivergency in ways, and there were labels that existed. Yeah, I actually don't know what the history of... Yeah, also, didn't, the shitty Nazi scientist or whatever who, originated the term for Asperger's, existed in the 40s. So, there was definitely awareness in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, and then he says, he was, actually, a really nice guy. And to show that he was a really nice guy, they show him petting a kitten, which is really funny as shorthand for he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Are they trying to do, Mice and Men, Lenny thing? Does he have a thing with a cat as well in that book? Isn't he, a gentle giant?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Of Mice and Men? One of the characters, Lenny is, like a gentle giant figure where people are afraid of him because he's like big and tall, and he's also got like a neurodivergency thing going on, but like yeah. Okay.
The way you said that, I thought you were saying like, and he was goth, and I was like, wow, he was goth.
He literally was goth. Okay, never mind. His thing is that he likes to pet rabbits, but because he's so big, he keeps accidentally killing them. Ouch, that sucks. Sorry, dude. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that was rabbits, that wasn't cats. I don't think they're doing a parallel here. They're just doing,
it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me because, like, you know when somebody wants to portray a person as bad, like, as in, like,
they have to kill a dog.
Material, they have to kill, like, a cat or a dog or something. And if you want to show that someone is kind, they're, you know, holding a cat or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe cats are the moral compass of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't there some
probably
like,
not
pretty stupid ass posts going around like a few years ago that was like, if you want to see like how a man treats a woman, you should see how he treats cats because they're like creatures that like don't really give you anything, like, or blah 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 blah. So like if they feel like entitled to a cat's time or act like they hate cats, then it means that they're gonna be mean to women who reject them or something. Like, that doesn't sound right. Like, what if you just saw how they treated women? Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Mr. Garland says that he feels that he failed Luther and, like, couldn't do anything to take care of him because he had 3 kids and his wife had died, which does imply that, like, he had, like, high support needs maybe related to disability. Yeah, so... Right, so Sam shows the drawing of Jessie, and Mr. Garland immediately was like, oh yeah, that's Jessie O'Brien. Her husband killed Luther. And apparently, like, everyone fucking knows that he did it. They just, like, keep stum about it. So, we get some flashbacks, and it turns out that Jessie worked at the mill as a receptionist, and she was nice to Luther, and he had a crush on her. And then when Jessie went missing, Frank thought that Luther had, like, kidnapped her, done something. So he, like, showed up to the mill and murdered him. And, like, I feel like we see too much of this flashback where we see him being killed. Like, what happened is that he, like, I think they call it road hauled him. He like, tied a chain around his neck, attached it to his car, and then, like, dragged him, like, up and down the road for, like, a while until, like, his head fell off and, like, he was, like, dashed to bits. Like, ugh. Right.
It was...
I felt, like, physically ill when I saw that. That was not good. Like, we don't see all of it. We just see the chain and him, like, the chain, him being dragged, and him, like, in pain and screaming. And the actor did a really good job of making me believe that he was in pain and screaming.
They show, like, the chain being wrapped around his neck.
Yeah.
And that one really was, like, the one that got to me. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, fuck.
And then
that
they show, like,
sucks.
They showed the pile of chain get shorter and shorter as he was starting to get dragged down the road.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And, like, when, like, people later are like, oh, like, he was just worried about his wife and he wasn't in his right mind. Like,
it's wild!
Okay, like, if he was worried out of his mind about his wife, he would not have had time to prep all of this shit, you know? Like, this is, like, very, like, premeditated, like, calm, rational, like, what's the way to, like, make him feel the most pain? Like, I feel like if you're panicked, you, like, show up with, like, one gun and, like, shaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Dean's like, and he was never arrested, and apparently Mr. Garland, like, went to every cop in town and was like, he fucking did it, but all of them refused to investigate because Frank was a pillar of the community and his brother was just the town freak. And Sam immediately is like, oh, well, I don't give a shit about this, I'm just trying to solve this. So he goes like, oh, you must have hated Frank O'Brien. Maybe you wanted to infect him with a ghost? Or at least that's how I read Sam saying that, like, trying to find incentive for Mr. Garland doing something. But, you know, he's like, you know, I did for a long time, but life is too short for hate. And, you know, like, this guy, like, he was just really scared. He was just really scared because his wife had vanished. Like, it sucked that he, like, did that to Luther, but, like, you know, like, God, if I got murdered and my sister ever found peace about it in this way, I would be so mad at her.
Like, because it wasn't even just like he accidentally shot the guy during a fight.
Yeah, or like an interrogation or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you know, maybe I can conceptualize like him being like getting into a brawl and then accidentally like getting a stab in or something.
Yeah.
But like even then, I feel like like you should like be guilty in a way, right? Like in some way. Even if it's just like an accidental death. Much more this. He caused so much pain to that man in his death. And it's just like there was no remorse. There was no like willingness to go and like, I don't know,
turn himself in.
Like,
especially after he found out that his wife had just killed herself and that it had nothing to do with this guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I get not turning yourself in because, like, prison system bad, but, like, maybe we're supposed to read him, like, being nice after his wife died as, like, his way of, like...
repentance?
Yeah. And, like, you know, like, I believe that people who do terrible things can, like, bounce back and become better, but, like, I feel like you still have to, like, at least fucking, like, apologize to, like, his brother and offer to, like, financially support his kids. Like, do something, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like, leave town so that, like, his brother doesn't see you every day at the grocery store or something.
Yeah. Do a Logan Roy. I mean, do a Kendall Roy, you know? Leave an envelope of money in the house.
Oh, did he leave his family? Because he felt guilty about the Nazi thing? Wait, what did he do?
Kendall killed someone.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That was pretty important.
Like, they visited the family of the guy he killed. Yeah. And then he left, like, an envelope of cash.
Huh. Yeah.
Season 2 of Succession was truly something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, oh, and, you know, his ending line is supposed to be like, ooh, but it's whatever. Dean, he says, that's fear. It spreads and spreads.
Yeah. Anyway, Dean is now complaining outside of this facility.
Keep him like this forever, please. Yeah.
Like, they realize that he's getting so many rashes because it's road rash. And the wood chips are because Luther probably swallowed wood chips. Which is just so... it's so visceral.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dean is like, yeah, let's just get his bones and burn them. And Sam says... well, we probably can't do that because his remains are probably everywhere because he was ripped to pieces.
Yeah.
No way we're gonna find all the remains. And Dean has like a freak out about this. And he's like, what are we doing? Who hunts a ghost? And he goes like, it's so horrible. Our life sucks. We hunt monsters. like, normal people see a monster, they run. Us, we run to it. And he's like, we're insane. Yeah. And then, he says that when there's bad diner food and skeevy motel rooms, and then the truck stop waitress with the bizarre rash, and he goes like, who wants this life? Do you even like being stuck in a car with me for 8 hours? I don't think it's just 8 hours, but okay. And he says, like, I drive too fast, I listen to the same 5 albums, and I sing along. I know I'm annoying. And
Good.
You're gassy. Like, you eat half a burrito, and you get toxic. And then he tosses Sam the keys. And he goes like, I'm leaving. I don't want this life anymore. Stay away from me. Go sickness, hellhounds, apocalypse. I don't want it. I'm done.
I think it's so funny when they mention the apocalypse offhand in a season 4 episode, because they haven't done anything about it since 402. But, like, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we just want to remind you that there is an apocalypse happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Dean's literally correct, and both of them should quit hunting, and his delivery of all of this is so funny. Good for him.
Yeah. Dean, like, is walking down the street. He hears growling. We see the little Yorkie. And then, we go back to the scene from the teaser. But yeah, we end up back in the motel room. Sam is in there. He enters. He sees Dean. And he's like, where the fuck did you go? And Dean says, I ran to this motel and I have 4 hours before I die. And then Sam sits down beside him on the other bed and goes, yeah, you're going back. And Dean goes like, back?
So Sam's not looking for you. Energy.
Yeah. And Sam says like, yeah, you're going back to hell. And he says like, the truth is, Dean, you've been a real pain in my ass. And then his eyes turn yellow.
So
and
hot.
He raises his hand and it tosses Dean to the wall. And Dean is like, you evil bastard, you're possessing my brother. And then Sam's like, no one's possessing me. This is just who I am. This is what I'm gonna become. There's nothing you can do about it. And then like, Sam starts choking Dean. Mm. And then we cut to like Sam, like the actual Sam, holding Dean by the shoulder going like, hey Dean, are you okay? Are you okay? And then Dean like recovers from this.
Yeah. God, so fucking fun. Anyway, I guess this gives us a little more insight for why he was the worst guy ever in Metamorphosis. But, like, God, how do you get from I can exorcise demons with my mind to I want to become Azazel? Yeah. Whatever. Dean's just a slippery slope bastard.
Yeah. Also, like, he says here that he has 4 hours to live.
Yeah.
I feel like the rest of this episode is more than 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
So, we see that Sam is meeting Bobby outside of the lumber mill. Meanwhile, Dean's, like, in the hotel watching TV. He's watching, like, what is it called? It's not called Pokey and... Who's the other? Gumby. Pokey and Gumby. And
is
like,
this something you watched in your childhood, or?
No, it's he references it in The Kids Are Alright, where he calls Lisa really bendy because, like, these characters are, like, all, like, made of, like, gummies and shit, basically. Yeah. Right, so he's watching this cartoon, and, like, the character gets, like, lassoed and then dragged around by a horse cart, and he goes and he's like so scared and he's like, well, this isn't helping. God, he's such a little guy. So Sam and Bobby are chatting, and yeah, so the hallucinations are a normal part of this disease. And Bobby says that he found something, an encyclopedia of spirits from the Edo period, and everything in there is Japanese. And Sam asks, "You can read Japanese?" And Bobby answers something, which, I used the Google Translate, like audio thing and turned up the volume on my computer really high. So, what he says, I think translates to, like, "I've had it since before you were born."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also in the wiki page.
What? Well...
Yeah, it's in the...
Oh, well, I didn't go on the wiki page because I didn't want spoilers for the rest of the episode. I was worried that I would scroll down too hard.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, yeah, he delivers it, like, really dramatically. And this is also in the compilation of supernatural line deliveries that are fun.
Yeah, but, as explained in his MySpace page, Bobby speaking Japanese was Jim Beaver's idea, as Jim is fluent in Japanese.
Oh, neat.
Good for him. Love a multilingual man.
So, Bobby says that there's a type of ghost in the book that infects people with fear called a boruburu. And I was not really able to find much on this, like, or at least every website that it was on didn't seem like a reputable source. But, so yeah, let's just go with whatever Supernatural says about it, I guess. And yeah, one way to kill it is to burn the remains, and another way to kill it is to scare the ghost to death. Which, ouch. Well, this is gonna cause something to happen. So, we cut to, like, the hotel room, and Sam calls Dean. Dean's ringtone is, like, some guitar riff thing, like an electric guitar sort of vibe. And Sam says, like, "Hey, like, you're gonna be fine. We have a plan, and it's good. Don't worry about it." And as soon as he hangs up, Bobby says, "This is a terrible plan." And it is.
And Sam goes, "Tell me about it." Love that.
Yeah. Bobby says, "I know I said scare the ghost to death, but this?" Which, does that mean he has moral objections to this? Because I have moral objections to this.
I have moral objections to this as well.
And I feel like this is honestly quite similar to Dream a Little Dream of Me. And, like, whatever they did there was pretty morally objectionable, too. But, like, it definitely feels worse here because this man has never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Ouch. And they're like, "Okay, let's just commit to this shit." And they go inside the mill.
Yeah. Anyway, Dean is at the hotel.
Oh, by the way, did you predict that this is what they were gonna do as soon as Bobby said they should scare the ghost to death?
I figured it out because, I mean, I have watched this episode before. I remembered what's gonna happen next during the reveal with the brother. That's how he dies. I was like, yeah, this is the episode where they do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Jesus
to the ghost. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when Bobby said scare the ghost to death, I was like, well, I know one way they could do it, but I sure fucking hope they don't do that one. But they do that one.
They, in fact, do that one.
And I guess I get it. Dean has, like, 4 hours left to live. Less than 4 hours. He has, like, 2 hours left to live. But, like, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Dean is in the motel, and somebody breaks into the room. And it's the sheriff who is holding a gun. And the sheriff is very anxious, very afraid. He's very pale and clammy. And he says, like, why are you looking into Luther Garland's death? And Dean realizes that the guy's also sick because he sees, like, a rash on the guy's arm. And the sheriff continues on saying, Frank O'Brien was my friend. So he made a mistake. So I didn't bust him. So what? And you're gonna bring me down over that? No, sir. And then he points a gun at Dean. Wild.
Yeah.
He made a mistake.
He made a mistake. And I didn't bust him. So what? He's so sorry about it. He's so sorry. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's just... I understand that people can change, blah, blah, blah. I find it difficult to think that one can continue playing softball and hanging out with someone that they know did such a brutal act.
Yeah, but, like, everyone in the town apparently called Luther a monster for being tall and probably autistic anyway, right? So, like, yeah, I think he already didn't view this guy as fully a person,
Human,
so
yeah.
it was, like, fine that he got murdered.
Yeah. Anyway.
Also, like, this guy is a cop. So
That's true.
every day he goes to work with people who have done worse things than this and, like, has coffee with them, probably, you know?
I've been thinking about that with regards of pursuing law. Like,
Right.
what if I would have to throw my morals away?
Right.
I don't want to do that, and like I'm second guessing myself. But let's see. You know, I still have 2 years to decide.
Yeah,
Anyway.
your brother can still show up in your last year of school and tell you that your dad's missing.
My non-existent brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Even one of your sisters could be trans.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the sheriff, like, they have a fight, and then the sheriff falls to the ground, like, on a coffee table. And then he starts hyperventilating, and Dean is like, relax, relax. But the guy dies. R.I.P., but not really.
Yeah.
Rest in atrocious hell.
Yeah. He's gonna really like torturing people. Like, he's not even gonna get tortured. Like, they're gonna show up with, like, the first scalpel, and he'll be like, can I do that to other people, please?
They're not gonna offer it to him. He's gonna request it.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. At the lumber mill, like, they aren't able to, like, draw Luther out yet. So Sam, like, he's like, okay, well, to do this, let's make him angry. So he puts down his gun, and then he starts to tear up all the drawings that Luther made of Jesse, and start, like, yelling to, like, him to come and get him. Blah, blah, blah. And then we cut back to Dean, and, like, he's remembering what, like, Yellow-Eyed Sam said about how he's gonna go back to hell. And
Also,
yeah.
is the implication here that the cop's body is just on the floor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Love that. Yeah, they don't talk at all about how they, like, managed to leave town without, like, getting caught. Like,
Yeah.
Linus is gonna be upset for the rest of his life that his crush, like, murdered his boss or whatever. But also, Linus is a cop, so whatever. And, like, he sees a Bible on the floor and starts, like, holding it to himself, like, to his face. Which, like,
Aww.
yeah, is nice. Like, it is nice to see him, like, reaching for comfort in places that he knows. Okay, speaking of, like, Cass was in the then sequence. Like, they don't, like, did Dean not bother trying to contact Cass about this? Like, if Cass saved his life, he probably wants him to not die in 4 hours. Cass probably has the healing powers to deal with this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The Bible thing was quite fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe that's, like, leaning in that direction. Like, he's praying
Right. That's true.
2 cats, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
And then our favorite character of all time ever. I was screaming and cheering when she showed up. Lilith in the form of the little girl from season 3.
And this little girl is having the time of her life.
Yeah.
This actor, she's slaying it. She's having fun.
Yeah.
Love that for her.
I hope she has a really good career. Should we, when we do our IMDb section, I'm gonna check what else she's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Lilith, and she's so cute. And she's like, "Hi, Dean, it's me, Lilith." And she, like, hugs him and goes like, "Oh, I missed you so much. It's time to go back now." God, I love her so much. And Dean starts freaking out, obviously, and telling her that she's not real. And she's like, "Oh, like, don't you remember all the fun you had back down in hell?" And this is where we learn that 4 months in hell... 4 months on Earth is like 40 years in hell. She says, like doggy years. Love that. And she's like, "And you remember all of it."
Ooh.
Reveals and things. And Dean asks, like, "Why me? Why did I get infected?" Which means that he has spent the last 20 hours, like, stewing over the idea that he might be a dick.
Like, at that point, I would just be like, yeah, probably. I have done something.
Especially if he remembers. It means he knows he tortured people down in hell.
Yeah!
Like, I would be like, that's probably why. Like, that guy murdered a guy, and I tortured people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, right, Lilith goes like, "Silly goose. You know why, Dean. Listen to your heart." And she starts going, "Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom." And this continues to be a voiceover throughout the mill where Sam and Luther are, like, doing a fight scene. And then it... okay, yeah, Sam gets a chain around Luther's neck, and then it's attached to the Impala. And Bobby...
Yeah, he screams like, "Bobby, punch it!" And then Bobby punches it. The accelerator, and Luther gets dragged across the dirt road.
Yep. God, this fucking sucks.
What?
Like, I hate that this is how the world is formulated in Supernatural, right? Like a lot of the ghosts that exist, they're like vengeance ghosts because they died of unjust causes. And there's no justice for these ghosts. It's just like, yeah, something bad happened to them, but they're evil now, so let's kill them. And, like, they don't even focus on, like, if they cared, like, there'd be a way to get rid of ghosts in a way that was, like, peaceful or, like, nice looking.
Yeah.
Right? And then there'd be an emphasis... Yeah, that happened in Roadkill, I guess.
Yeah, that lady in Roadkill, they made her go into the light.
Yeah. And
in a very funny scene.
And also, the Mary ghost ended up being, like, nice or whatever, even though she died unjustly, because she's, like, their precious, like, woman in a white nightgown, virginal, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like, this guy doesn't get that. And, yeah, there's just no focus on, like, oh, like, maybe we're putting them to peace now. Like, maybe, like, they're, like, going to go to heaven now or whatever. It's just like, yeah, it's pretty bad what happened to them, but, like, right now, like, they're, like, biologically evil, so we just have to kill them in a way that's terrible.
He became this spirit because he died with so much fear, violence, and, like, just, I don't know. He was probably very afraid when he died, and that's what made him into this. And to be like, yeah, let's just do the exact same thing that turned him, quote unquote, evil.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, if somebody kills you like that, I feel like you are within your rights to do even worse to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, let's do the exact same thing that caused him this much trauma, pain, suffering. So that he could be gone. And it's just, like, the episode presents this as, there's no other alternative.
I feel like they barely even say
been.
that. They barely even say that there's no other alternative. Like, there's very little moral dilemma. And, like, yeah.
Like, this is a TV show. You can write whatever.
Yeah.
You already made up a bunch of shit. Just make up more. I don't know.
Yeah, like, in, like, Red Sky at Morning, like, you had, like, the brother, like, come back or something, right? And, like, collapse into him
like,
into a bunch of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's gotta be, like, let's summon back Frank and have Luther punch him in the face and then he'll be at peace. Like, you know? They could do anything that they want. But they were like, you know what would be really messed up, bro? Or something? Yeah. Oh, and then obviously Lilith disappears. Dean is fine and the scratches on his arm are gone. Even though, like, he physically was scratching his arm with his, like, hands. So I don't see how that happened. I don't see how those went away, but okay.
Anyway, we go to the end of the episode. Dean is fine now, by the way. He, like, became fine immediately after Luther died.
Yeah. He's no longer a fun little guy. What are your thoughts on the outfits in the epilogue?
Well, I don't remember anything other than Dean is wearing a gray shirt.
Oh, yeah, he's wearing a gray Henley. Sam has, like, his sort of, like, jean shirt situation going on. Bobby's wearing, like a tan jacket that's, like, I don't know. I just don't really think it's his color.
You're doing, like, those, like, color theory bullshit with Bobby. I love that.
Yeah, I sent you the screenshots that I put on my Google Doc via Discord so you can sort of see the outfit situation.
We need to do, like, what is it called? The color thing? Color, like, the one where they, like, put you in front of a mirror and then a person, like, has, like, pieces of cloth. And it's, like, very famous on YouTube Shorts, which is
I don't
where
know.
I watch TikToks.
I don't know what this is. I was told that the way that you decide whether you're, like, a winter or an autumn or a whatever is based off of the color of your veins.
It's called personal color analysis.
Okay.
And, like, it's very famous in, like, Korea and stuff. Honestly, I think it's a grift. Honestly, I think it's a fucking grift. Like, I'll send you a TikTok.
Okay.
It's basically, like, there's, like, a bunch of colors.
Okay, and
then they
put them on you.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my god, it's my color.
And,
like, I remember...
These are nothing. This means nothing.
I remember, like, I mean, the people who are conducting it are quote-unquote experts, so...
Yeah,
I remember this one video, I think it's a K-pop idol, like...
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, seated on the chair, and the person was doing the, like, color reveals.
Yeah.
And then, like, he was like, I don't like, the person was like, this is your color. And then he goes like, I don't like it. And he goes, and like, the woman goes like, it's your color. Like, it looks great on you. And he was like, I don't think so. And he was like, you have to trust me. And I was like, what is happening? I sincerely think this is a grift.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is.
Like, I understand that there's color, like, for example, I wear makeup, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I can't wear warm, cool tone makeup because it looks bad on me. Okay. So I, like, the kinds of pink I wear tend to be more on the orangey side, like, stuff like that. But just, like, this entire endeavor looks so stupid to me. What's going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, we should do that to Bobby. We should get Bobby in Japan, where he would thrive because he speaks the language.
Yeah.
And make him take a personal Connor analysis session.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So he can, like, have a more robust trucker hat collection.
Yeah. It's so sad that Bobby will never wear the whole, like, you know, fish fear me, women want me type hats. Like, I feel like I haven't seen words on any of his hats of that effect.
He should.
Yeah.
Women should want him, and fish should fear him.
Yeah.
Women want me, demons fear me. Etc., etc. Okay. Yeah, they're standing at the side of the road. They're drinking. And, Dean is informed by how they did what they did. Sam says that the chain was iron and it had spell work etched on it.
Sure.
And he was like, it was brutal. And he was like, yeah, but at least I'm alive. Which I feel like is the, you know,
writers
I think they realized at some point. They realized at some point that, like, oh, this is, like, very, very...
kind of bad.
Viscerally bad. And this is them trying to, like, be like, but it's okay.
This is kind of problematic.
Yeah. Maybe they're codependies.
For context, my roommate really likes saying codependies. And I think it's become part of both of our vocabularies.
And mine. You have to
by both I meant, like, you and me.
The two of us.
My roommate's not on this podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, they asked Dean how he's feeling, and Dean was like, oh, I'm fine. And they start making fun of him a little bit. And Dean is like, yeah, I'm fine. You want to go hunting? I'll hunt. I'll kill anything. And I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he would kill anything.
And Bobby goes like, oh, he's adorable. Anyway, getting the fuck out of here. And then he drives off.
It was nice that, like, Bobby and Sam, like, clearly had some bonding moments off camera where Sam was like, and then Dean said this. You know, because Bobby always, like, prefers Dean over Sam, so at least there's one episode where Sam gets to be the favored son.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam asks Dean what he saw near the end. And Dean tries to deflect by saying that he saw howler monkeys, which, what is that?
Like, just a type of monkey. Are they scary looking? I'll look them up.
I think they were in the 1995 film Outbreak.
What's that?
Which Dean references earlier, right? Outbreak monkey.
Oh, he does?
Well, what else? Anyway, by the way, during this scene, Dean sees, like, a glint of yellow in Sam's eyes.
So hot.
Yeah. And they continue drinking, and that's the end of the episode. But not really, because...
Well, specifically, Dean says, like, oh, I just saw the usual stuff, nothing I can't handle. And then, like, the camera, like, focuses on him a lot against the white sky, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a scene after the episode where it's Jensen Ackles
submitting his Drag Race audition tape.
Yeah. And it's like that scene earlier where Sam interrupts him air drumming to Eye of the Tiger. But now he's not interrupted and he does a whole performance.
Yeah. He's lip-syncing.
I watched this. I was already on call with Crystal. Because, I forgot to watch it during the actual watching of the episode. So I was like, okay, hold on. I have to watch the bonus stuff. And I continuously said, he thinks he's so funny. So that's what I think about the scene.
Yeah.
He really does think he's so funny.
Yeah. He does an air guitar on his leg thing, And I was like, you can't do that. That is reserved for David Tennant in his role as Benedict and Much Ado About Nothing. But yeah, I guess Jensen Ackles did it first. And also everyone in the world did it first. Sad.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about what we think about this episode.
This is, like, better. Like, I had a way better time with this one than with Monster Movie or Metamorphosis.
Yep.
Like, yeah, this is, like, we're coming off of a streak of, like, bad ones. So I feel like I appreciated this more than I normally would. It was funny. Dean's a lot more likable as a little guy. And the way that they concluded it was pretty atrocious. All things that we've said in the episode.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, like, how to talk more about the morality of this episode. Because I feel like what we said is already it, but also, like, I want to emphasize that it's horrifying what they did.
Yeah.
But, like, how am I gonna do that? Just say it again, you know? So, like, I feel like the degree at which I was horrified does not equate to how I spoke about it. But I really was very horrified. But, you know, otherwise the episode is actually very funny. It's just, like, I don't know, it's just so brutal. And the brutality is so...
And I love that afterwards Eric Kripke was like, I need to apologize for something in this episode. And we're like, oh, that thing? No! The idea that I implied that Dean might be a dick!
Yeah. Well, anyway, what's our next segment? Best line, worst line.
Best line is when Dean says, I'm annoying, I know that. He literally is annoying.
My best line is when Dean was like, when Sam, before, because I didn't know that he was gonna be hallucinated as Yellow Eyes or as Yellow-Eyed Sam. So when he was like, yeah, you're going back. Going back to hell, Dean. It's time. You're going back. I thought that was so funny. And I was like the effect that they were going for, the like shock, I did experience it. So I think that was a well done line.
Yeah, I agree.
What's your worst line?
I guess none of the terrible things in this episode were lines. Yeah. I guess Bobby Punch It is a line.
Bobby Punch It!
Also, like, the fact that, they had show shots of the Impala rushing forward, and it's very much like a car porno shot of, like, oh, the light glinting off of the Impala, like, while they're doing, like, this. I was like, is now the fucking time?
I don't have a worst line. Wow.
Wait, what about, like, the whole, like, oh, so what? He made a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
But, like, we're supposed to find him despicable for that, at least.
I didn't like what the brother said.
Oh, yeah. Where he was like, oh, he was just so sad about his wife.
It's like, oh, the fear got the best of him.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to something that I will not, declare, but if you get it, you get it. Looks like fear got the best of you. You don't know it?
No? What?
I think no, never mind. Who even give a shit?
Well, now I really do give a shit. I give many shits. You can cut it out.
It's like, no, it's just like in Trixie and Katya.
Oh,
like,
nice.
One time they're talking about something, and then like somebody off screen, like the camera director or something, goes, looks like fear got the best of you. And Trixie and Katya was like, what is happening? You never speak. And then they were like, what are you, Mother Goose? And I think it's a very funny segment in the show. Anyway, I'm trying to find the exact thing that the brother said. I don't like the justification that, like,
Yeah.
I hated it for a long time, but life's too short for hate. Frank wasn't thinking straight. His wife vanished. He was terrified. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you can use that as justification for a lot of things, but
Not that one.
yeah. Anyway, we have to do the spreadsheets.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think it's 0 all the way.
On an Andrew Dab episode, we're good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who would have thought?
Yeah, like, they got lore stuff wrong, which I would say is, like, racism adjacent, but I feel like it's, like, they do that all the time, so I wouldn't actually give points for that. So, yeah. Wow, we made in an episode called Yellow Fever, we made it 0s across the board.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Anyway, IMDb. So, I would rate this actually pretty high.
Yeah.
On 8.7. Although, I'm not too sure about that. I would not be surprised if it's lower.
Yeah, see, this one's a tough one because I feel like some people would be very amused, and, like, apparently, but also some people, there was apparently so much backlash about the implication that Dean's a dick that Eric Kripke had to apologize for it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go safe with an 8.5.
Okay. Well, let's see. Oh!
What?
It's a 9.1.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well,
Hell yeah.
that was... I've been doing pretty bad this season at guessing shit.
Yeah, which means I'm doing pretty good.
Good job. Oh, in the trivia, it says that the credits thing is that Jared thought it would be funny to not tap on the car to see how long Jensen Ackles would go with the, like, the tiger thing, and then he just did the rest of that unprompted. Because he thinks he's so funny.
Yeah.
Alright.
But that's pretty decent. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. It is pretty funny.
Anyway, all the reviews are saying, it's funny. It's funny. Reminds me I watched the show. One of this year's is Gems.
Oh, one of these ends with, what did Lilith mean when she told Dean you know why? Because Dean is certainly not a dick. And that review by Eric Kripke.
Well, we need to look at Lilith's actor.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is Shara McCormick. Is this the one?
Yeah.
She is 5'1".
Good for her.
Good for her.
I don't know. She was on 3 episodes of American Horror Stories. Anything else?
She has short hair and colored hair now. Good for her.
Yeah, it does look pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not really seeing anything I recognize on her credits, but she has been working. Good for her.
I think she, like... yeah, that's it for this episode of Busty Asian Beauties. Next week, we'll be discussing Season 4, Episode 7. It's the Great Pumpkin. Someone just...
Oh my god, Sastiel!
Leave us a rating. I think so!
Yeah!
But first of all, Castiel app.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry, my priorities are wrong.
Leave us a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts.
Follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at twitter.com/beautiespodcast and on Tumblr at bustyasianbeautiespod.tumblr.com. Our official tag is babpod, BABpod. Thanks to everyone who's donated to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/bustyasianbeautiespod, where we're gonna be Let's Players now, I guess. And you can check out our merch at babpod.redbubble.com.
I don't know.
You can email.
Email us. I think this is the second time in a row that I had no idea what to say, but you can email us at busyhmoviespod@gmail.com. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.